Growth and increase is a law of our being, and it's important for you to advance to go where you've never been. And the idea that one thing leads to another thing entirely, although they are connected. Now, I'm going to explain the L principle to you and how to use it. And it works in any line of business. And it's highly important you get this. When you speak of when we speak of order, that's what we're talking about. But there's more to it than just the superficial idea of order. It has rooted meaning, and from that comes everything. There's a book called The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Shinn. And Lady Shinn said, most people want a lot of good things. They want to be successful, they want to be prosperous. But when you take a close look at how they do things, it's always in a chaotic way. You cannot produce massive results in a confused mindset. It's not going to happen. Our environment is a mirror reflection of our inner states. Now, I want you to analyze yourself and say, do I look at myself from the standpoint of restriction? This will give you a startup process, and from these states of reasoning, you can build what you want. Now, you and I reason in two ways, inductive and deductive reasoning. Reasoning, as important as it is one of your higher faculties and is a product of the conscious mind. But you reason inductively and deductively. Inductive reasoning is when you take separate instance and form a complete idea, while deductive reasoning is where you draw conclusion from a single idea, that is, a part to an entity and an entity to a part. But the problem is, most people do not do much of reasoning. In fact, the average person doesn't do much of anything, and his point of view is in some sort of a mechanical way, as Henry David Thoreau calls it. Henry David Thoreau, when he said, we find only the word we look for. When you change what you are looking at, what you are looking at will change. It's all on perception. Now, in deductive and deductive reasoning, the conscious mind does all the inductive processing and so on, but the subconscious, the part that controls the physical body, is totally impersonal. What goes in the subconscious will become autonomous. It will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, this happens all the time. There's no dodging it, there's no escape. That's what is happening currently, although most people don't know it. And what most people are doing unconsciously is they act based on thoughts they inherited, fixed ideas in their mind, and some of those ideas are false. And of course, they don't know that. And it is this assumption that forms their identity. And when a person has no identity, there's a problem, because the mind will not for long remain empty. Something has to fill that space. Thoughts, as incredible as it is, are everywhere. Thoughts are everywhere. So the mind is passive and receptive to something. Now, we know this, that something is always calling our attention from outside. Something always wants to grab our attention. This is not something new. You and I are living in a universe of love and law. And one of the law state that whatever is impressed in mind must be expressed. That is, any idea impressed upon the subjective mind become autonomous. That is, start to control you. First is you give energy to the idea. Then the idea grows and give energy to you. What happened in point A has a corresponding effect in point B. This is the law of cause and effect. Nothing is created nor destroyed. Everything is. You make it what it is. And what you make out of this infinite power that continuously flows through you is right, because it's your attitude that determines your results. There are so many things that want to grab our attention. Like I said earlier, pay no attention to what happens in the outside when moving ahead. You see, it's not a matter of winning and losing. It's a matter of sticking to an idea to its final conclusion. You are not working with some man-made mandates. You are working with unseen laws, which are the back, which is at the back of every external condition. You see, I wanted to know what is it to this universe we are able to find ourselves. You see, there has to be something. You know, when you have this curiosity, there has to be something. And I want to know what that something is. But when you really open your mind to something new, you will receive what you want. You always get what you want. Universe exists in perfect order. When you look at the objective world, you see a kind of chaos, but out of all chaos comes order. You can transform chaos into order. You have the ability to do that. Now, why do so many people live boring and unhappy lives? This has nothing to do with the accumulation of stuff. It's to become aware, open your mind to something new, not included in your past experience, but proceeding out of it by an orderly sequence of growth. A lot of good will be happening to a lot of people if they really get out of the way and think. Now, I want to thank you for staying. This is Victor, Anya, and bye for now.